I hope you've been enjoying the interview question and answer videos with Ken Samples of Reasons to Believe. You can find out more about Ken, a philosopher and theologian who has written so many books and done so much research for Reasons at reasons.org. The last question I asked was about faith and science. Are they mutually exclusive? So Ken, I have another question for you. What about faith and reason? Are faith and reason or faith and logic mutually exclusive?
Yeah, I think this is a very important question because I think lots of time people aren't clear what to have faith means. You know, in a New Testament context, the word faith, the Greek word is pisteuo, to believe. The noun is pistis, to have faith. I think a very good definition, a solid definition that runs through Christian history. I think its early source is found in Augustine of Hippo, St. Augustine. Augustine says that Christian faith is confident trust in a credible or reliable source. Confident trust, and that's the root of that word pisteuo, trust. Confident trust in a credible or reliable source. Now, notice that that's not confident trust in anything or everything. Notice it's not just trust blindly. It's confident trust in something that shows itself to be credible and reliable. So from a Christian point of view, that credible or reliable source is God. It's the person of Christ. It's the person of Christ because of his character, because of his miracles, because of his resurrection, because of his resume, if you will. Or it could be confident trust in truth, in reason, or even in the chair I'm sitting in. I'm trusting this chair is going to hold me up. One of the important things I think for people to appreciate is if you define faith, as Augustine did, as Anselm did, Thomas Aquinas, as leading Christian theologians and thinkers do today. If you define it as confident trust in a credible or reliable source, then reason is part of the definition of faith. It is trust, not in anything, not in everything, not blindly, trust in a credible or a reliable source. And you could even begin to develop that idea. To have Christian faith, you have to have knowledge. I have to know who Jesus was. I have to know what he did. I have to be informed about his life, his death, and his subsequent resurrection. So faith involves knowledge and is compatible with reason because the very definition of faith involves a rational component. We can develop it even further. You know, I've often heard the expression, particularly from atheists, that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. I don't know if that's true, really, but if it is, I have a question for the atheist. I mean, from an atheist point of view, there's no mind behind the universe. The world is the product of blind, mechanistic, natural processes. But where does reason come from? Does it come from the reasonlessness? There's no mind behind the universe. Does personhood come from a non-person? Does morality come from non-morality? I think secular naturalism, atheism, makes extraordinary claims. And I don't know that they need extraordinary evidence. I just don't think they have credible evidence. So everybody has faith. Everybody kind of looks and tries to work through things. So I think it's clear if you look at history, if you look at the development of the Christian faith, if you look into the New and Old Testament, faith and reason are compatible. They're complementary to one another.
Absolutely. You know the Mark Twain definition of faith. Faith is believing what you know ain't so. That's not the Christian faith that we're talking about. There are many worldviews that believe what they know ain't so. I was talking recently about Mormonism and a worldview that is based on a lack of evidence across the spectrum. And maybe that definition could describe certain worldviews that aren't based in evidence. But when we come to Christianity, it is a worldview based in the truthfulness of what it teaches. the historical reliability, the scientific truthfulness, and so many other aspects. There are so many atheists that I would love to hear, kind of like you mentioned, a positive argument for their atheism, but most of their arguments are simply negative against ours, and they're bad negative arguments. You don't have the evidence, therefore God doesn't exist. Well, I believe we do have the evidence. But before you jump to conclusions, I'd love to see some evidence for atheism. I don't know, Ken, maybe a follow-up question. There aren't many good positive arguments for atheism, are there?
Yeah, I think, a lot of times people who are secular, whether they're skeptical or even agnostic or, hardcore atheists, they're often not very skeptical of their own unbelief. My question for them is to say, are you skeptical of your skepticism? Do you ever doubt your atheism? The kind of standard arguments that people give for atheism, the more thoughtful atheists, they'll raise the problem of evil. They may raise the problem of hiddenness. They may even say, Christians don't live up to their, core values. But Christians, I think, have good answers. I mean, the problem of evil is always a challenging issue, but I think Christians have good answers to those objections. But you're right. I think that atheism is a denial. It often doesn't move in a positive direction.
Great answers. Well, Ken, this is not the end of our interview. Viewers, there will be more questions and answers with Ken Samples coming soon.